Hello and welcome to my channel, your go-to source for the latest in USA Gossip 24. Don't forget to follow and subscribe for all the updates. Let's dive right in.
Kelly Clarkson wants balance after quitting her talk show. This is something that was a hard decision for her. However, she wants to find the perfect balance in her life. Her kids are her top priority. They always have been. However, they need her now more than ever since their father just passed away. There is a lot to unfold and uncover. Keep reading to find out more about this situation. Kelly Clarkson takes step away from talk show. Kelly Clarkson is taking a step away from her talk show. This is something that has been weighing heavily on her. However, it is what she had to do for herself and her children. Last year, she was more absent than ever. However, this was because the father of her children passed away. Brandon Blackstock sadly died from cancer. However, she had to be there for her children as they had no one else during this difficult time. Fans could sense that the end was coming after this. She wants balance after calling it quits. Kelly Clarkson wants balance after calling quits on her talk show. It has been revealed by an insider that she wants this. People let everyone know what they had to say. This change gives her the space to be more present at home while still doing the creative work she loves. Kelly still wants to make music and perform, and she's open to popping up on projects she enjoys, but nothing that requires an ongoing daily grind. For her, this next phase is about balance. This is going to help her find balance in her life. She wants to be there for her children as much as possible. However, she also needs to be there for herself as well. Fans are sad to see her go. It seems as though Kelly is ready to find some balance in her life. She is going to be able to prioritize her children and herself the way she wants to. Kelly seems excited for this new journey. However, fans are going to miss her dearly. She more than likely will not return after this season of The Voice either. It seems she wants a break from all things work. What do you think about this situation? Are you shocked that she wants this so bad? Let us know in the comments below. We would love to hear your thoughts on this situation. When Kelly Clarkson first stepped onto the brightly lit stage of The Kelly Clarkson Show, she brought with her a kind of authenticity that daytime television had been quietly craving. She laughed loudly, cried openly, and sang like she was still standing on the stage that made her a household name. For years, she balanced it all: music, motherhood, and a demanding daily show that required both emotional vulnerability and relentless energy. But behind the scenes, that balance was beginning to slip. The announcement that Clarkson would be stepping away from her talk show sent waves across the entertainment industry. Fans were shocked. Critics were curious. And insiders? They weren't entirely surprised. Because for Kelly Clarkson, this wasn't about quitting, it was about reclaiming something she felt she had lost: balance. The weight of doing it all. From the outside, Clarkson's life seemed almost impossibly full, but in a way that looked glamorous. A chart-topping singer, a beloved television personality, a coach on major music competitions, and a devoted mother. She had become a symbol of modern success. But success often comes with invisible costs. Filming a daily talk show is no small task. It's not just the hours on set, it's the preparation, the emotional investment, the constant engagement with guests, audiences, and stories that often run deep. Clarkson wasn't just hosting, she was connecting. Every interview required her to be present, empathetic, and genuine. And that kind of emotional labor adds up. Sources close to her often described her as all in during filming. If a guest shared something painful, she felt it. If there was joy, she celebrated it wholeheartedly. That authenticity became the show's signature, but it also became its weight. At the same time, Clarkson was navigating her personal life, including motherhood and the evolving responsibilities that come with raising children while living in the public eye. Eventually, the question became unavoidable: how much is too much? A turning point. The decision didn't come overnight. It was gradual, shaped by moments both big and small. There were the missed mornings at home. The rushed evenings. The times when exhaustion crept in, even during things she loved, like singing. Clarkson has always described music as her anchor. It's where she feels most herself. But when even that began to feel squeezed into an already packed schedule, it became clear something had to change. Friends say there was a particular moment, quiet, unremarkable on the surface, that shifted everything. She was at home, surrounded by her children, but her mind was elsewhere, already thinking about the next day's taping schedule. That disconnect hit her harder than any headline ever could. She didn't want to just be present physically, she wanted to be there fully. Redefining success. For much of her career, Clarkson's success had been defined by achievement. Awards, ratings, album sales, milestones. But stepping away from the talk show marked a shift in how she viewed success altogether. It wasn't about doing more anymore. It was about doing what mattered most. Clarkson began to speak openly about wanting a life that felt sustainable, not just impressive. She wanted mornings that weren't rushed, time to create music without pressure, and the ability to say no without guilt. In many ways, her decision reflects a broader cultural shift. More artists and public figures are beginning to prioritize mental health, family, and personal fulfillment over relentless productivity. But Clarkson's journey feels especially resonant because of how openly she has lived her life in front of audiences. There's no carefully curated distance. When she makes a decision like this, it feels real, because it is. The emotional goodbye. Leaving a show that carries your name is not easy. For Clarkson, it wasn't just a job, it was a creative outlet, a platform, and a place where she formed genuine connections. Over the years, she built a space where guests felt safe to open up, where music was celebrated, and where laughter came easily. Saying goodbye meant letting go of all of that. Those final episodes were filled with emotion. Not just from Clarkson, but from her team, her audience, and the countless guests who had shared pieces of their lives on her stage. There were tears, of course. But there was also gratitude. Clarkson didn't frame her departure as an ending. Instead, she spoke of it as a transition, a necessary step toward a more balanced life. What balance really means? Balance is one of those words that gets used often but understood differently by everyone. For Clarkson, it doesn't mean stepping away from work entirely. She's not disappearing. She's not done creating. Instead, balance means having control over how and when she shows up. It means making music because she wants to, not because there's a gap in her schedule to fill. It means being present with her children without the constant pull of deadlines. It means choosing projects that energize her rather than drain her. And perhaps most importantly, it means giving herself permission to rest. A return to music. With the talk show behind her, Clarkson is expected to lean more heavily into music again, and fans couldn't be more excited. Her voice has always been her greatest strength, and there's a sense that this next chapter could bring some of her most personal work yet. Freed from the daily demands of television, she now has the time and space to create without constraint. That kind of freedom often leads to something powerful. There's already speculation about new albums, intimate performances, and perhaps even a tour that reflects this more grounded version of Clarkson. If her past work is any indication, whatever comes next will be honest, emotional, and deeply relatable. The industry reacts. Clarkson's decision has sparked conversations across the entertainment world. Some see it as a bold move, walking away from a successful show at its peak. Others see it as a necessary one, especially in an industry that often demands more than it gives. Many fellow artists and hosts have quietly expressed admiration. Because while it's easy to say family comes first or mental health matters, it's much harder to make decisions that reflect those values when careers and expectations are at stake. Clarkson did exactly that. And in doing so, she's set an example that resonates far beyond television. Fans, shock, support, and understanding. The reaction from fans has been a mix of emotions. At first, there was disbelief. The show had become a daily ritual for many, a source of comfort, laughter, and connection. But as Clarkson shared more about her reasons, that shock gradually turned into understanding. Fans who have followed her journey from the very beginning recognize a pattern. Clarkson has always been true to herself. She's never been afraid to speak her mind, to show vulnerability, or to make difficult choices. This is simply another chapter in that story. And while they may miss seeing her on their screens every day, many are excited to see what she does next. A broader conversation. Clarkson's departure also highlights something larger happening in society. More people, across all professions, are questioning the idea that success must come at the expense of well-being. The pandemic years, shifting cultural values, and increased awareness around mental health have all contributed to this shift. Clarkson's decision fits squarely within that narrative. It's a reminder that even those who seem to have it all are still searching for balance. And that choosing yourself isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of clarity. What comes next? So what does the future look like for Kelly Clarkson? The truth is, it's still unfolding. There will likely be new music, Perhaps new formats of storytelling, and maybe even a return to television in a way that feels more manageable. But whatever she chooses, it will likely reflect this new priority: balance. Not perfection. Not constant visibility. Just a life that feels full in the ways that matter most. Final thoughts. Kelly Clarkson's decision to step away from her talk show isn't just a career move, it's a personal statement. It's about recognizing limits, honoring priorities, and redefining what success looks like in a world that often equates worth with productivity. She isn't walking away from her passion. She's protecting it. And in doing so, she's reminding everyone watching that it's okay to pause, to reassess, and to choose a path that feels right, even if it means letting go of something good to make room for something better. For Clarkson, that something better is balance. And for the first time in a long time, it seems like she's finally found it.